I need to talk about SakaMoto Days. It's a new title from Shonen Jump. They just released their Volume 1 here in America. Listen, I get it. I feel like all the time people are like, hey, have you checked out this new Shonen Jump title? They're coming out constantly. And they are all killer titles. The Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, they are some of the most popular titles that we buy. But this one is amazing. Let's talk about SakaMoto Days. I've thought a lot about how I'm going to do this volume, and since it is relatively new, and maybe you haven't heard about it, and this is the first time you're hearing about it, I would be surprised. I feel like a lot of manga tubers are picking up this title. But if this is your first time hearing about it, I don't want to spoil the entire volume because it is so fun to experience. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. This is one of the first titles in a long time, especially in Shonen Jump, that is pure fun. Listen, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of violence. More than you would think. More than I thought, that's for sure. But for the subject matter, which if you didn't know is about a retired hitman at 27. I know he doesn't look 27. Says it in the manga, he's 27. Life has been hard for this man. But to deal with hitmen and that culture that it is doing, which is very violent, it is such a fun read. And what I mean by that, these are two of the most fun characters that I've read in a long time. Sakamoto and Shin, which is the retired hitman, and a person that he used to work with. And this is a spoiler kind of for the second chapter, so be warned. Skip like 20 seconds. Okay, they've already skipped, so let me tell you. He comes and works with him at his grocery store. Or his combini. Depends on where you live. But he does it because he's like, oh, this guy's still got it. Because it does go over a trope that has been done before. It's a retired hitman who still has not lost it. But the fun part is, he is a heavy-set individual that loves food. I get that. I feel that 100%. Food is delicious. That ramen, every food looks good in this manga. But be warned, it does go over the trope that a lot of hitmen genre movies, TV shows, comic books, manga have gone over where they're retired. But you pull me back in.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
And how I pitched it to a friend of mine that I really wanted to read. It's the manga form of Way of the House Husband mixed with actual John Wick. And if you haven't seen John Wick, what are you doing? Watch John Wick. It's a great action movie. It's up there with The Raid as some of my favorite action movies. Watch John Wick. Watch The Raid. If you haven't watched The Raid, this is not a Raid review. I should do. It's not a movie channel. Raid's good. John Wick good. But then obviously, since he has gotten out as anything, they have put a hit out on him. They gotta take him out because that is the hitman thing. So, like I said, it's not doing anything crazy with the story. I will say a very funny, another small spoiler that I have to say. So, again, skip like 20 seconds. They're gone again. Okay. He doesn't talk at all because Shin can read minds. I wasn't expecting that. So, it's so funny when he is in his... Hold on, it's probably been 20 seconds. Alright, listen, it went a little longer than 20 seconds. Skip another 30 seconds and come back. Alright, quick, before they come back. He doesn't talk and Shin can read minds. Anytime they're around his family and Shin wants to talk about their ex-life as hitmen, he's like, say something, I'll kill you. But it's through his mind. It is so well done, and that is where the comedy is played. These two, it's like a buddy cop movie with these two characters of Sakamoto and Shin. And again, I think it needs that because when the action actually transpires in this manga, it is... For an art style, right off the bat, I was like, average. It's okay. But then when the action happens, the art style switches. Which Mob Psycho has done it. Bakuman has actually done it, and I think did it really well. That series is great. One Punch Man does it. There are action mangas that have done that, where their normal art style is good and, average. But then when the action happens, that art is like, am I reading Berserk? This is so good! And I think there is something to be said because so many Shonen Jump titles and Shonen action titles very specifically try to do action and comedy. And to me, some of them pull them off, but some of it fails. When I read this first volume, and for it to be a new series, it has jumped up immediately on my must-read every time a new volume or a new chapter gets released. So many titles have tried to blend this together, and I personally cannot think of a title like SakaMoto Days that has done it this well in recent memory, especially ongoing series. So it's something to look forward to whether you collect the volumes or read chapter by chapter. And to watch this hitman Sakamoto still protect people. And he just doesn't care about his identity being revealed. But there is one scene, this is not a spoiler, but he is trying to stop a hijacking on a bus, and he wears a mask, but he still has his apron that says Sakamoto on it. And that's what I mean. I think it does such a good job to find the comedy in the action scene. It builds the action scene and it builds the comedy around it, which I think is rare to find in shonen action manga. Because I think a lot of shonen manga do great action or do really funny things, but to blend the scenes together. One Piece does it really well, but like, it's not a video if I don't bring up One Piece, huh? God. Maybe one day I'll get through a video without mentioning One Piece. But a lot of Shonen Jump mangas are either doing awesome action scenes or funny dialogue scenes. And that was refreshing to see it blend together. And another thing I have to mention is the wife character. Aoa? Ioa? Here's the name on the screen. Help me pronounce it in the comments below. But she is not just some like, I don't know what my husband does. She's the reason that he stopped being a hitman. I know that was like a small spoiler, but I mean, John Wick. It's not that bad of a spoiler. And she's not this some damsel in distress thing. Anytime she gets into a precarious situation and he might have to save her, that trope is there. But she is the boss of him, and it is such a fun time with them two together. And that's the biggest thing that I want to say. The characters is what sells this action comedy manga, and that's actually hard to say about some Shonen Jump titles, I think, where the world or the action sells it, but sometimes the characters are weak. And to me, not only is some of the action really well drawn and really well like choreographed in panels, and the comedy legitimately funny, but you care about all the characters that surround this thing. Because the world is not that interesting. Actually, we might be learning more about the assassin world. That's how Volume 1 leaves us. And we might or might not, who knows, don't want to spoil, we might or might not learn about some of the assassins he used to do business with. But as a Volume 1 goes, I think it introduces the character, introduces the setup, has great action, great comedy, and it's just one of those manga that I know you've probably seen in pickups and manga haul videos, and you're like, oh, I should check that out. But maybe you don't know too much about it, and hopefully this video kind of helped educate you on kind of what is to be expected about. Because I think this manga is going to blow up in the next year to a year and a half. I don't know how well it would do as an anime. That's something to think about. I bet they could do it. But with no anime announcement, I know it's been in a bunch of people's manga haul videos, and you've probably heard people talk about it. I just really wanted to make this video to kind of help educate you about what SakaMoto Day is, and why I think that if you like this kind of stuff, if you like Way of the House Husband, if you love action movies, legitimately the manga opens it up with, I love action movies. Thanks for reading. That's like the little blurb on the first page that every manga has, that the author writes. And that tells you everything you need to know about this series. It is so fun, and not only, like I was saying, as a Volume 1 goes, it sets up to, oh my god, that was amazing, I can't wait for a Volume 2. Which is really all you can ask for in a Volume 1 of a series. So yes, SakaMoto Days has jumped up on my list of mangas I cannot wait to continue to read. And if you have not been reading it, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you go check it out, because in my opinion, it is incredibly, incredibly fun and violent. And kind of sweet. It's a lot of things. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I appreciate you wholeheartedly. And hopefully, maybe you learned something about SakaMoto Days. And if you check it out, let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it, because as you know, I make these videos because I find something cool and I'm like, I want to talk about it because I like it so much. I'm very selfish. Wow, what a way to end the video. I'm very selfish. I try not to be. But yes, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.